ho, fucking ho. Welcome to the very merry mumbo jumbo, maybe? I don't know. It's a Christmas episode, okay? Everyone does the fucking things. Here we go. I've even gone to the effort of putting on a Christmas jumper. So there we go. We're really fucking festive. Here we are. It's days away from the big day. I have a toddler in my house, little Isaac, who is, he's really fucking hyped. Every morning he's up about 6 in the morning and he still hasn't quite grasped the concept of an advent calendar yet. So it's exhausting and lovely, and it's great to have that Christmas spirit echoing and bounding around the house, just not in the fucking mornings. But yeah, I'm not sure what time he's going to get up Christmas morning. I have a strong suspicion he may not go to sleep. But yeah, that's happening. So it's Christmas. It's nearly here. We're all kind of finishing up work. I've got a couple of days. Actually, I've got a day left. I'm off for 2 days looking after him, which is why I've got this fleeting moment to bang this video together. As it were, and then I've got a few days off. I'm not in retail this year, which is nice. So I will actually have a couple of days off at Christmas. Wonderful. Maybe I'll get some games played. So there we go. This Christmas episode. So that's about as festive as we're going to get. We'll go for some more Christmas stuff. I mean, Christmas is on the way. Me personally, what's on the Christmas wish list? I didn't put many games on this year at all, actually. Number one, because probably I'm not going to get them. They're all fucking expensive. But I did put the June Imperium expansion, the new one, which escapes me what his name is, but it's not Ix, it's the other one. Because, you know, it looks like it may overcomplicate it, but it's cheapish. It's about 25 quid. So I've put that on. That would be nice, because I do like June Imperium. I will go into that and what we've played, because yes, I will. But yes, June Imperium's good. Other than that, the only other one that's probably circling the list at the moment is the Heat, Pedal to the Metal, the Days of Wonder racing game, which I'm fascinated by, really interested in, but it's like 60 fucking quid. So I'll see what Santa brings me in my stockings, or any bits of coal I can chip through and find maybe a vestige of some cash. And I might treat myself to that if and when Father Christmas is feeling particularly generous. We shall see. But that's it. Other than that, I bugged a bunch of books and bits and pieces on there. Just you know, I've got enough board games. Don't really need any more. Anyway, that's it. So what's on your Christmas list? What are you going to be digging around in your sack for? Anyway, while we contemplate that moment, let's think about what I've been playing. Played. Well, not a lot, actually. So I did want to get played, Pret-a-Porter, and I dug it out last Sunday, and Jamie couldn't be less interested in the female playing it at all. So I'm going to persevere with that. We will play at some point. It is a very tight economic business game. It does have this theme of you running a fashion business. Jamie's big Luddite. Can't just, it's not got manly stuff in it. Can't play it. Big misogynist git. Anyway, yeah, so we'll play it at some point, because I do like what it. I played it for years, but I really enjoy what it did. But yeah, when he can get past his hang-ups, we can play a fashion business thing. I'll tell him as an arms dealer, covered as a fashion dealer. Maybe I'll play it then. So anyway, yeah, there's that. We did play a whole evening of poker or card games the other week, because Ben could be asked to teach. I'd brought nothing along. So we played that, and then we did. I won some money, Robbie won some money, Ben lost some money. There was a particularly horrific hand that Ben went all in on, he was deeply hurt by, and Robbie was betting on a pair of fours. Shouldn't have been in the hand at all, but there you go. Those the breaks you get. So that's it. And then we played June Imperium the other weekend, with all the expansion, the app and all that running. Really, every time I play it, I get more out of it. It is a game that is growing and growing and growing and growing. I mean, I love the hybrid of the deck building and the other stuff going on, the worker placement and all that sort of stuff. The Rose of Ix expansion adds a nice extra bits in there, which just kind of rounds off what's going on in there. I am fascinated to see what the new one brings, because it adds a little bit more. I like it. It's one of my favourites. I mean, it's got June. I love June. I love a bit of that. But yeah, June Imperium, fantastic stuff. So I'm really enjoying that. We played that. I didn't do very well. Oh no, I won it. Haha, I did win. Pulled it in at the very end as Baron Harkonnen, because, you know, he's a cheery chap. So we played that, and then the weekend just gone, what the fuck did we just play? Oh, we played Tapestry again, because we couldn't decide what to play, and then Robbie always, his go-to is Tapestry. I enjoy Tapestry. We played that again, and that was fun. So, that's all what we've been playing at the moment. Let's do some news. Here is the news. News is a bit light on the ground, I think, really. I've been playing Hearthstone, actually, just to get out there. So there's new Hearthstone, which apparently, if you've not played Hearthstone before, you can join it now. You get about 50 card packs for just signing up to Hearthstone. So if you've never played it, not a bad idea to do that if you want to do that. They've just introduced the Liches, the Lich King into it, and you can play as Lich King as a new character class, which I covered a little while ago. It has these different runes that you can adapt the deck with, which allows you different types of cards in. So you can all go down one specific rune colour type, and then you can do all the big free tier of those types of rune cards, or you can mix it up and have a sort of a mix of stuff. There's like Frost, there's Undead, and there's Blood Magic, I think. Playing around with that. I'm enjoying that. I do like Hearthstone. I don't like their business because it's EA. I think it's EA, Activision, one of those fuckers. There's ridiculous amounts of stuff. But actually, for a free game, I have got more than my money's worth out of it. I have occasionally thrown a bit of cash in it because, but as a free game, it still probably is the top drawer online deck card battle stuff. And this latest edition really has some nice stuff to it. I have been playing Marvel Snap as well. It's okay. I'm enjoying Marvel Snap, but it's not taking the mantle of, at the moment, of Hearthstone. But it's enjoyable. So there's that. So yeah, if you've not done it, sign up to Hearthstone, never play. You'll get 50 free cards. Something to do in it. Over the Christmas beard. Trick Track, which is a French board game site, is closing after 20 years. Now, clearly, I've never visited Trick Track because it's in French, and I don't speak the French. I don't very well speak the English, but the French is something I don't do very well. But it is one of the the old guard, one of the last remaining vestiges of the original board game internet stuff. From what I get, from what I understand, I think it originally got picked up by Asmodee, recently bought it out, or someone did, or someone else bought it, and then it switched hands. They bought it again, and it's kind of then they've added ads were added to it, and with the backing of the big Asmodees, it kind of fell out of favour. Because everyone went, well, you're no longer independent. That's my feel for what's occurred. And it's kind of business model, it kind of grew, and then they couldn't sustain themselves, and they died. But, it's something that's been around, a thing. The BGG is still going. I think they both started at similar times. They've both been going for about 20 years. It's not a resource I used. I don't know if anyone did, but it's going. At the moment we're in a weird time of there's dozens and billions and trillions of content creators out there. Back in the day when I originally started this bullshit, there was a handful of names. There was stuff like Joe Eddy, who's still going, The Vassal and the Tower of Dice, that's obviously clearly still going, and a few others, and Secret Cabal and a few others, but there really wasn't the depth and dearth meat of all the shit. I mean, there's hundreds, thousands of popular content creators now. It's a very busy business out there. I've been bocking around at the edges for some time. But yeah, it's the same old shit. Anyway, so there's a few going. We're going to see, I'm sure, some fall by the wayside, some jump up in the next few years. Lovely, jubbly jubbler. What else is going on? Well, there's board game adjacent stuff. You can't help but notice there was a complete and utter fuck up regarding Henry Cavill. He left The Witcher, number one, probably citing some creative differences with the scripting and all that, but also to sign up, he'd been offered to return to the Superman role. And everyone got very excited. And I believe, I've not seen it, but the Black Adam that came out, he apparently cameos in that Superman. So the thing was, we're getting Superman back, and fine. I quite enjoyed some of what Zack Snyder did with the DC stuff. I think he had a long plan, a game of it. I've seen the 4-hour Justice League Cup we covered a while back. I think there was something going on there. Yes, it was the dark, dank, gritty thing, and it was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Okay, fine. I understand people not going for it. But I see there was a longer game that they never got. DC lost the bottle, so they pulled the plug. And it's a mess, DC. And I've loved DC comics. I've read all of, Batman is one of my favourite. I've had a collection of that for 2 decades worth of Batman comics somewhere, and so I enjoy DC, but they're just fucking it up. So James Gunn's come on board with Peter, someone whose name escapes me now. They've come on board to do like the Kevin Feige version of DC, and Cavill being back was not part of the master plan. So he's been kicked to the side again, which the internet's lost its shit over, unsurprisingly. However, the nugget of news coming out of the back of all this preamble aside is that Cavill's now got a deal with Amazon to do Warhammer 40k TV series, which could be interesting. Cavill, as we know, is a massive, big Warhammer nerd. He's a big nerd. So he's clearly coming to a love of it. It is an interesting universe to mess around in. Kind of, it's weird. It's a dark fascist type, awful, fucked up empire thing, and chaos and goblins and orcs and who knows? It could be fantastic. The aesthetic is going to be amazing if they get it right. And I loved a bit of 40k back in the time, the grim, dark, gritty sci-fi stuff with that sort of very British humour in it. I don't know if we'll see any of that quite transferred over into it, but 40k as a TV show. It's going to be a few years off yet, but count me as being interested. And, Board Game Geek, currently in the process of their support drive. I've done it most years since I've been on there for 7 or 8 years at BGG. I don't think I'm going to bother this year. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of tightening the purse strings. You can buy in, I think, $15, whatever that now equates to in pounds, probably about 50 quid or something, I imagine, with the current exchange rates. But yeah, you can buy in that, and it supports them. They're a big thing. They're a big entity now. I don't use it as much as I did. To actually get your content on there as a ball ache, I don't know what you get from it, and I've not posted stuff up on myself for a while on it. And let's be honest, it's all kind of user created. However, it's a fantastic resource and it's been there for years, and it is, something I dabble into daily. I will look in on it, but I don't personally put a lot in there now. But yeah, I don't know. Or maybe at last minute I might have a FOMO moment of not having my little coloured ribbon at the bottom of my name, and I might dive in there. But yeah, if you want to support it, it's not there's worse things to support, let's be honest. Board Game Geek is doing the support drive for Christmas. Lovely. So then I filmed this thing the other day, which is a thing on the games of 2022. My games I've played, the new releases of 2022 releases, what I've played of them is not everything. It's definitely not an exhaustive list. Exhaustive list? Yes, that as well. But I went through and I kind of rambled through the games I played, and then I kind of give them stuff I think is good in no particular sense of rhyme, order or reason, which may be something I might be able to salvage in the edit, or it is in fact just going to be a rambling buffoon of me sat there jabbering about games from 2022 I've played, and coming maybe towards the end of it as some rambling maybe suggestion of idea of what I enjoyed during it. We'll see. So, games of 2022. So, just so we're clear, the small text here, the little disclaimers and all that sort of shizzle. This is going to be stuff that I have physically touched, smelt, felt, tasted, chewed on. Stuff that I've actually physically touched and seen. Nothing else. Because there's a lot of stuff come out this year, as per usual. So this is just stuff that I've touched, played. Okay, we're clear? Good. Off the bat, stuff that I haven't got a box here for. Carnegie, played that at the start of the year as one of Ben's. He kickstarted kind of heavy-ish, Euro-y, businessy building side of stuff. Big guy with white bushy beard on the front. You know what? Okay, with me, it's aesthetically looks very cool and all that, has some really good stuff, but it hasn't stuck with me. I would play it again, I think, but not doing anything really that anything else that I've seen hasn't really been doing. I don't know. It was good, fine, but not breaking my joy-gasm stuff. That doesn't make any sense. Didn't do it for me. It was all right. Other notable ones that actually Ben's stuff, there's some Legacies was another one. We played a lot of that at the start of the year. I quite enjoyed it, and Legacies grew on me as I played it more and more. And I liked that it wasn't quite balanced. I like that it had some deeper strategies that you kind of uncovered as you played. And yeah, there's a lot going on with this one. It is a heavy teach, it's a steep learning curve, and you need at least 3 to 4 plays before really it starts to sink in. But I would say post all that and done all that, you know what, it's a solid bit of Euro-y game, but with enough Ameritrashish trappings to make it a little bit more stand out for me. Not easy to get hold of, I don't think, because it was a Kickstarter, and I don't think it really went massively to retail. I'm saying this, I'm kind of saying this, but yeah, that is up there for one that I played this year that I really quite enjoyed. And I'll maybe, once we've run through all this, I'll do like a top 10 or something. I don't know, we'll see how this pans out. This is the end of the year and stuff, we can do all sorts of shit. You know, it's within our realms. So there's those. The Yak is one I played that Tony picked up at the expo we played. It's got the really cool toy aesthetic of the yaks that you're putting stuff in, and they're moving around a board, and you're trying to load them up with stuff, and then when they come onto you, you can get stuff out. That's the basics of the game. It's very much overproduced to the point because it isn't actually that deep a game. Looks cool. Toy value definitely on the table. Looks very cool. Looks good and all that. Actually, when you come down to it, I was so-so on it. I thought it was all right. It looked cooler and better than it actually ended up being, if that makes sense. It's very much a game of kind of when you decide to take stuff on or off of a wagon. That's what's really happening. But yeah, I don't know. It's one I'd play again, I think, but I think maybe its aesthetics far outweigh what's actually going on in that game. Long Shot's another one that Ben picked up. It's a horse betting game everyone was kind of crazy for a while. I think it's a roll and write, if I remember rightly. Again, I not really struggled with it. I kind of found it was a little bit kind of, yeah, it's okay. But I wasn't left desperate with an appetite to touch it again. And the last one off that is Libertalia, the reprint from Libertalia from Stonemaier Games. I really like Libertalia. Libertalia is kind of, at a stretch, is an expanded version of Love Letter. What if Love Letter had a buckload more cards and you only have so many each round you played? It took it, rethemed it as Sky Pirate animal things, tweaked some of the rules, and that was basically it. I've run this review. I found it a bit lacking, even with a bit of the polish it had. And I don't know what it was about the tweak they'd done, but I don't know. There's something I don't know. At the end of the day, it didn't surpass the original for me. And in actual fact, I think the original still stands up pretty good, actually, with art aesthetics and how it plays. And I'm not entirely certain what they tweaked out of it. I haven't played it for a while. I was left underwhelmed by it, being a game that I quite enjoy. Didn't enjoy that much. So there you go. So that's the stuff that I haven't got a box for. So let's dive into stuff. Well, quickly. So Star Wars Outer Rim, we received the expansion for this came out. Unfinished business this year. It was always a game that felt it was lacking. It felt the vanilla version Outer Rim base game was okay, but after about 4 plays, you've kind of seen everything it had to offer. The unfinished business had a bunch more characters and ships, and more importantly, cards and stuff going on in there, and it did what we wanted from it. It expanded the contents of this game, gave it some life, made it a bit more enjoyable, a bit more stuff to do. I don't with this, because it is the problem, as I say, number one is if you want the full experience, then you're going to have to buy the base game, and then you're going to have to also buy the expansion, which then pushes this now at this point, I'd imagine, towards like the £100 mark for this. And I'll be honest, this isn't a £100 game. It says pick up and deliver. Plays in the shorter time of something like Firefly or Merchant of Venus, so it's got that going for it. Obviously, it's a Star Wars theme. At the moment, I'm on the fence with it because it did definitely make it more enjoyable, but it's still one that's on my shelf. When I look at it and I go, should we play something else? I don't know. So yeah, Outer Rim, Star Wars Outer Rim, the Unfinished Business expansion. Yes, it was good. Yes, it did all what we wanted it to do, but I've still found a little bit like, I'm somewhat leaping to come back to it, but it's Star Wars, and it's pick up and deliver. And it's quicker than Firefly, so it's currently residing in the collection still so far for the minute. And we'll see how that pans out over the next couple of years, I guess. Another big one here is Nemesis Lockdown. We did play through this a little while ago. I picked this up on the Kickstarter. I think it was Kickstarter. Boy, lots of stuff in the box, the huge amount of stuff in here, some tweaks of quality life to some of the things I quite like the life dials and stuff, and some other bits were kind of cool in here. However, it didn't feel to me like it did a whole lot more than Nemesis did. It didn't really do enough to alter it. It had the darkness mechanism, which was cool, and that kind of, I enjoyed that, how the monsters had different abilities if they were in dark or light. That was kind of a cool mechanism. But they never really doubled down on the creatures themselves. They felt a bit of a meh. I wanted more of that pitch black feel with the creatures and all that sort of stuff, and it never really did it. It's kind of like Nemesis 2.0, kind of, or even 1.8 maybe. It doesn't push things far enough away from the original. So for me, and I already said this before, is I'm not going to keep this. I am going to get rid of one or the other, and I think I'll get rid of this. So I've got all the extra stuff for Nemesis, so it feels like keep that, got the extra bits. There is not a massive amount of difference. So yeah, that's why I'm coming down on that at the moment. Gutenberg for Paul Games. Really got a good bit of buzz post pre-Essen. I think this came out at Essen. Got the seal of approval from Dice Power. You know what? It's good. It's a fairly solid little Euro with the printing press theme on top, which maybe mileage will all differ depending on how you feel about that. I like the aesthetics of it, all the wooden pieces and all that, and it kind of cool, and I like the idea behind it. I think ultimately at the end of the day, the theme kind of runs off it like a drippy egg. It doesn't stick. It's gone. So even with all that, it doesn't quite work, and it's an okay mid-weight Euro. But I haven't been any appetite to really go back to it. Despite it looking cool and have some cool components and all that, it just kind of leaves me a bit, yeah. My father's work, I kickstarted this. This came out this year. Said a lot about this. Gothic horror, mad scientist game, using an app, lots of variables to the scenarios. I haven't played all the scenarios fully. I haven't got all the endings for all the scenarios, definitely, in this. But yeah, a really solid play. I really enjoy it. I mean, the components are top drawer. Everything in it is really good. The app, now it's mostly fixed, is kind of cool. There was a few tweaks, issues early doors. But yeah, that's a cracker. Really enjoyed that. I've covered that rough already. One of my favourites of the year. The Thing from Pendragon Games, who subsequently recently did Escape from New York, which I didn't back. To be fair, you know what? This captures the feel of the movie really well. The rulebook's a bit of a shambles. Again, the biggest issue is, and rather like this and Outpost 31, another Thing game that I own, it really only plays well at the very high counts. This was kind of targeted as being able to be solo and lower than the 4 players. And I think even at 4 players, this is a stretch. It doesn't really get the feel for what the power hour and that Thing feel. You can play it, but it kind of feels like it's missing something. I haven't yet managed to get this to the table with 6 or more, 8 players, or whatever it plays up to, where I think this would really shine. It's good. I mean, it's John Carpenter's The Thing. I love that. So for that alone, yes. I never picked up the Norwegian expansion and all that, but yeah, that's why I've kind of come down on that. It's good, enjoyable, but it doesn't quite work at the low player counts. It really needs to higher. So I'm keeping it because of the theme and stuff, because of that it is. But at some point I'll play the full version of it. Whenever, who knows? Terracotta Army from Border Dice. They've had a bit of a run of it this year. This is the most recent ones they've popped out. I covered this very recently. I enjoyed it. Aesthetically, it's kind of cool. But it seems very random. It seems quite random. And I don't know yet if there's a deeper strategy to this, or if it is just a bit random. But it kind of looks cool, and it plays okay, and I like what it's doing. But yeah, it doesn't quite hit. And this is the board and dice thing for me. Is like they just nearly go over the line. Doesn't quite. With the similar things, Zapatec was the tile placement game. It's really quick. It plays very quick, but the problem you end up with this, and I did mention it when we played it before, is it plays quite quickly, but you're left in a situation going, oh, I needed one more round or two. I feel like it ends too soon and you don't get the full feel that you wanted. So whilst it does the job of giving you that kind of heavier Euro but in a shorter playtime, the end of the result, it is still a bit unsatisfying. You're kind of left going, oh, I wish it was a bit longer, or I wish it had this or something, and then it's not that game. So yeah, again, nearly. Then founders of Teotihuacan. This was tiles, so you build the tiles on there. Really, really heavy teach to this, because you've got to teach everything, even though it's relatively straightforward. But to understand it and play it, you need to know all the minutiae of it, which means that it's weird. You're kind of reverse engineered. It's an easy game, but a nightmare to teach. Again, I kind of enjoyed it. I liked it, but haven't come back to it since we did. Again, it kind of falls a little short of what it could have been. Batman, Everybody Lies. Forever I was saying to Portal, and I was shouting, saying the detective format, if it was tied up with Batman, would just be a match made in heaven. And this came out. No, I did film a review of this, and then I deleted the video files because I'm an idiot. And then I haven't quite gone back to it with everything else that happened with COVID and stuff and illness and things. That was back in the midst of time. Never did it. So, in a nutshell, June was a disaster. They did the June version of Detective and they dumbed it down, and it wasn't very good. This is a better version. It's still kind of that streamlined-ish rules, and it's got the Batman theme on it, and it should be a home run, but it's not. And I think the big problems I have for Takeover from it is, number one, they still kind of gutted out something that made Detective really cool. And I don't know why, but in its streamlined version, it's not quite as streamlined as the June one was, but still streamlined. It's missing something. It's missing that thing that made Detective really cool, and I really enjoyed. Whereas this is kind of, I don't know, it's just not got something in there. Plus, you throw in the fact that it's kind of a generic-ish sort of Batman thing, and it kind of, depending on how much of the comics you've read, it's very much kind of villain of the week's thrown in. There's supposed to be an overarching storyline, but it doesn't. It's kind of. I would have liked to have seen like maybe one of the really good comic storylines kind of adapted and tweaked and it like really feeling like one big story that's going on, whereas this doesn't really feel like that. It feels like individual things with a villain of the week kind of thrown in that's there. Aesthetically looks cool. It's got all the stuff that we love of Batman, and it should be kind of exactly what I want, and it just quite wasn't, because I think it didn't have that hardcore detective feel. I think if it had somehow managed to marry the hardcore detective from the very first Detective game with like a proper dark brooding Batman story rather than, and I get it, they had to cater to the Batman audience, and this kind of mass market-ish could be bought by people who are just passive Batman fans. But then we don't kind of get what I wanted. We've kind of got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's not really pleasing everyone because it's not fully really embracing the full Batman Darkness detective stuff, because it's not quite delving fully into that really kind of deep detecting game. So we end up with this kind of, yeah, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Looks cool, nice art, great bits in there. Storyline's okay. The components okay, but again, we've slimmed down from Detective, and this slimmed down version doesn't quite work. It doesn't do what the original did, which made me so happy. So yes, close, but no batarang. And then Dead Reckoning is one of Tony's, actually. We've still got it. We haven't finished this. We've been playing the Sea Dogs Legacy expansion-y bit of this. Pirates, essentially. You are pirates building a deck, kind of a deck building, but you kind of adapt your cards. You upgrade them and add bits to them. And do. Big board, you can sail around and find stuff. It kind of essentially is Seafall, sort of Seafall, wanted to be. It kind of does that. It's more Seafall than Seafall ever was. I really quite enjoy it. It's a hard one to get because it was a Kickstarter, and I think they recently did a new one with an expansion, but it's not cheap. I think I enjoy it. I don't own it. It's Tony's. Would I buy it? No, because Tony has it. But if Tony didn't have it, no, it's too expensive. It's far too expensive for what it is. It is fun. There's a lot of, especially teardown at the end of the game is horrific because you've got to separate all the cards off. And there's a lot of really cool stuff I like, and I really enjoyed all it does. And it does a good piratey thing. And if you don't own a pirate game, then maybe something like this might be what you want. Would, as I say, come back to, would I purchase it? Would I buy it? No, I wouldn't. If I had the spare cash, no, I wouldn't. But yeah, so Twas, good design, good. It's good. It's a solid game. If you've got the money, whatever this would cost you, which is probably about 150 odd quid, burning a hole in your pocket. Okay, if you don't have any pirate games and that's really what you want, then yes, that's close as I come to a faint praise, isn't it? Of all of this lot, what's the things that really blow my socks away this year? I think My Father's Work stands there. Brilliant. Really enjoyed that. Dead Reckoning was fun. It's down the lower end, but it's in there. We played what's the one, the big tree, the stupid tree game? Everdell Big Box. I played that with Ben. I did enjoy that last play of Everdell, the big box thing. So that scrapes in on there as something else to recommend. Other than that, Terracotta Army, I guess. Outer Rim, I guess. Yeah, that's it. My Father's Rock's really the thing what's kind of I've played a lot of and really taken away from this year. That's it, I think. Everything else has been a bit, yeah. I don't think anything's blown my socks off. There's the June Imperium expansion that's just come out this side of Christmas, so that's one I want to get and add to it, because we played June Imperium again the other day and I really enjoyed that. I still think it's a solid game, and actually it's growing on me with every subsequent play. So yeah, there you go. That is the games of 2022 that have come across my way. I think that's all of them, and I think we've come to the conclusion that actually not much of it did really much for me. Recommended, definitely, if you got the cash. Yeah, those two. John Goblins the thing, but I can't recommend it necessarily unless you've got a big group of players you can play that most regularly with. I would suggest rather pick up something like Don't Mess with Cthulhu or Secret Hitler or Resistance. They're better versions of this. This has just got the thing on top of it. There you go. Let's do some news, if I haven't done that already. If I have, then let's do something else. Other than that, so that was that. That was wonderful, wasn't it? What did we take away from that? I don't know. There was a few games in 2022 I played, and of them, there was fewer of them I really enjoyed very much. But My Father's Work was one I did enjoy. So there we go. We've got that. Then other stuff, other bits and pieces. Not much. There's not much here. What have we watched? I did see The Banshees of Inisherin. It's just turned up on Disney Plus, so I should be watching that tonight. I think that's on my agenda. I've not been doing very much else. I've been working. It's very busy. Working for the NHS this time of year is incredibly tiring. Fortunately, the frost hasn't popped out around here, so I won't be dealing with too many broken bones this week, which is nice. It means that I might actually get a decent break. Who knows? Excuse the pun. But yeah, there we go. We look forward to next year. What will next year bring us? I don't really fucking know, if I'm honest with you. By the way, I've still not shifted this fucking cold. Still kind of a bit, but I'm for you. I'm making the effort. So next year, the one thing that's probably on the horizon is Frosthaven. Me and the boys, we group bid on it. It is coming. It probably, by the looks of things, won't. Excuse me while I die. Frosthaven. It's probably not going to hit these shores over here probably until maybe February by the looks of it, and maybe even pushing into March. But whenever it does get here, it's one that we're going to play a lot of. We loved Gloomhaven. It absorbed about a year of my life when we played that as a group before. I have strong suspicions that Frosthaven is going to do very similar, so we'll see how I can do with battling that against playing other stuff and content. We'll sort it out, but there will be definitely, in the new year, once we get it, I suspect some small amount of Frosthaven jibber-jabbering. So if you're not invested in that, you're going to have to put up with that going on. I will try to work around the edges of doing and playing other games so that I have other stuff to talk about. And I always will have the Friday night crew that we do get to play other stuff. But that's kind of it. I don't think there's nothing else I've really watched of late that's kind of been, that's exciting. But, well, I'm sure there is. I've just forgotten about it. But yeah, Christmas. That's it now. Me, the little chap, and Erwin Dawes and all that. We're going to have a nice Christmas. It'll be lovely. I hope all you can have a lovely Christmas. Thank you, supporters, the Patreons out there that have supported us through this. We are on. I did look the other day. We jumped like 100 subscribers randomly. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, all this stuff is going on. But yeah. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for the views. Thanks for the watches. Thanks for another year coming to an end. Maybe next year we can produce something fresh and interesting. Because this year I've really not done very much. But it's been stress. It's been hard work. It's been a hard couple of years. But I will hope and try to get a bit more reviews done and other stuff. But we're here. We're ticking on. Fine. Look after yourselves. Have a lovely break, whether it is, if you're Christmasing or not Christmasing or whatever. Just enjoy whatever time you get with. If you've got the kids, enjoy the kids, and most importantly, enjoy your presents. And let me know what you got from Christmas. Anything exciting, anything good. It's always nice to know. And I myself will, of course, report back post the big day to let you know if and when and what I got and anything and stuff, and if I got to play the games. Who knows? Until then, thanks for tuning in. Have yourselves a very merry Christmas, and I will see you on the other side. Thank you, and a good night. Ta-da.